Hey guys, may the force be with you from Hong Kong, where I've just seen an early preview of Star Wars Rogue One, and it was freaking awesome. Of course, emotionally, I'm still a 12-year-old, and since I saw the original Star Wars when I was 11, and I'm emotionally 12 now, it was pretty cool. It was really freaking cool. Especially for you old school Star Wars fans who know all the old characters, especially some of the B grade characters. There are a lot of cameos. We just saw it this morning. It was English with Chinese subtitles. So we saw the same release that you guys are going to see. Out of 8, how many died in the group? Guys, do you want spoilers or do you not want spoilers? I know a lot of you want to see it. So I can go ahead and tell you some spoilers. I don't know what time it is. Yeah, spoilers. Okay, so it's 12:10, and we went in to see the 9. It was about 2 hours and 5 minutes or so. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but hold the spoilers. Well, there's a few people who do want the spoilers. Okay, so. Okay, let's go. I tell you what. I'm going to tell you no spoilers first. No spoilers. And then I'm going to come back and I'll warn you. Okay, so we're going to do a no spoiler thing right now. I'm sorry, the mic is just moving around. Was it worth the hype? There really wasn't that much hype here in Hong Kong. It didn't really get a lot of publicity, but it tells the story of literally the weeks before the episode 4, all the way up to just a few days before or a few hours before episode 4. So there are a lot of cameos in the movie, some of which are CGI, the computer generated. There are, especially if you know a lot of the B grade actors, a lot of the backup actors in Star Wars. Is it too scary for a 7 or 8-year-old? There is a lot of explosions in the first half and the first third and the final third of the movie. They move very quickly. There's a lot of explosions, a lot of things. I wouldn't say there's anything really scary. There's nothing gory. There's no severed arms or anything like that. There's no big boo kind of scary things. I think my son was more scared by the last Star Wars than he would be by this one. I have an 8-year-old. I'm going to take my other one. I'm an old school Star Wars baby, as well, and this, touched my inner thing. The story is basically, as you guys know, about the guys who steal the plans for the Death Star. What I really liked about it is when I grew up, you always had this idea that the rebels were these really, really good guys who eat gluten-free products and oppose animal testing for, cosmetics and stuff like that. They're all these really nice guys. And the truth is, hell no, man. They're badasses. They had to make major life-death decisions, and they often chose kind of the evil side just to further the rebellion. The rebels were not a bunch of hippies or something like that. The rebels were rebels, and they had to make some hardcore tough choices. It was pretty cool. So there's 2 leads, the guy and the gal. The guy is actually a Spanish actor. He had a Spanish accent. Anything about Rey's parents? Okay, guys, so I'll tell you what, we're going to get into the spoiler section now, okay? Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you do not want spoilers, please leave now. We're now going to talk about spoilers, okay? Spoiler alert. Okay, 5. Spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. There's nothing about Rey's parents in this episode, okay? Unless it's super hidden and I didn't pick it up, but there was nothing about Rey's parent. We did see Darth Vader in the tank where he gets things. Darth Vader comes into the movie in about the last third. He has a rather minor appearance. He's there, but he's not the central focus of the movie. What other questions do you want? So we're on spoiler alerts, guys. We're on spoiler alerts. So if you're afraid of spoilers, this is got to get out, okay? How many of the original 8 troopers how many of the rebels, how many of Rogue One men die? All of them. They all frickin' die. Okay? That's the A-team. They're all dead. At the end of the movie, they're all dead. No happy-go-lucky stuff like that. They're all dead. Yeah. Because if you remember in the first one, in episode 4, they said, at great cost. That was a hint. That was a hint in episode 4, 40 years before they even made this one. They all did. Does anything happen at the end credits? I don't know. I had to go to the bathroom. But I don't think Star Wars is like that. We don't start with the big scroll, the big traditional Star Wars scroll. They didn't have that, okay? It just goes in. Cameos, who's in it? Grand Moff Tarkin is in it. Grand Moff Tarkin. All right, he has a major role. Grand Moff Tarkin is in this one. We have Princess Leia making a cameo at the end. The young Princess Leia. We have, of course, the woman admiral. Everybody knew that one from the previews. Who was the guy from L.A. Law? What's his name? The guy, the senator. Yeah, he was there too. The one who took care of Princess Leia. Yeah, he was in it. Spoiler alert, guys. There is a spoiler. There won't be any sequel because there is a sequel. It's called Episode 4. Literally, the movie ends. The last scene of the movie is the plans to the Death Star being given to Princess Leia and her ship taking off, chased by Darth Vader. Okay, yeah, Vader is in it. Organa, yeah. So Organa's in it. Oh, guys, here's a small one. Red Leader's in it. Red Leader, Gold Leader, the guys who were attacking the Death Star. You see them leading an attack on an Imperial base. So it's like, check in Red Leader, and suddenly you're like, dude, that's the guy from Red Leader from the original movie. There's a couple other cameos. I think one of the Rebel pilots is there that I didn't recognize, like the commander of Leia's ship was there. So it's about 2 hours and 10 minutes. Spoiler, guys, spoilers. We're talking spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything about the movie, don't turn into this thing. Jabba the Hutt was not in it, but this giant octopus-looking Hutt-like creature was in it. R2-D2 and C-3PO make a very, very minor 2-second appearance. Kind of dumb, actually. Kind of just sort of like, hey, we can sell a toy if we put them in the movie kind of thing. So, Ewan McGregor's uncle. Oh, that's kind of cool. What surprised you in the movie? I liked how the rebels were badasses. I really did like how they weren't just like, in the first one everybody was happy and, they're freaking Ewoks and all that crap. No, man, they're like, they're killing people that are on their side even. They're killing everyone. I mean, they're the bad dudes. Spoiler alert, guys. Spoiler alert. We're talking spoilers here, okay? Let's see. That was the Apple Store. Whew. We just lost Rogue One. There's a line in Rogue One, but that was they just lost communications with Rogue One. The movie, not that great. I thought it was great, but you got to understand, I'm a Star Wars baby. I saw the original when I was 11, and my wife keeps telling me emotionally I'm a 12-year-old. So I haven't really aged much. I liked it a lot more than the prequels. Oh, God, did I like it more than any of the prequels, I have to say. Any new character like, K2, who is the robot, he's kind of like a C-3PO rabbit robot with a bad attitude. It's kind of cool, kind of funny. I didn't go, so I went with John Ho, but John Ho couldn't join me on the scope because he's got to get back to his office. It is 12 o'clock noon here in Hong Kong. Yeah. How does he get killed? How does who get killed? K2? K2, so basically the plot is that this main scientist of the Death Star is basically kidnapped to work on the Death Star, and in the process he sends his daughter to go hide. His daughter is rescued by Forrest Whitaker, who is sort of a splinter group of the rebellion, a very, very militant group of the rebellion who wants to just fight. He raises her, but eventually she becomes kind of a juvenile delinquent, ends up in a prison. The rebels then go and rescue her. Everybody dies, and bring her back and task her on this mission to go and find this Imperial pilot who defected with a message for the daughter. Darth Vader comes in at the end. Hey, Brazil. So they go find this guy on this planet with a city named Jeddah. Jeddah is like sort of the home of the Jedi philosophy, I guess. They run into Danny Yen, Ip Man from Hong Kong, who is a blind sort of wannabe Jedi monk. And then this other guy who's got this incredibly powerful, like, Gatling gun blaster sort of thing. And The Death Star shows up and blows up Jedha just before they can escape. It kills the Forrest Whitaker guy and all of his friends. There are no Jedi in the movie except Vader, of course, and Vader does pull out his lightsaber at the end of the movie and waste a bunch of no-name guys. I'm kind of hyper on a scale of 10 because I'm such a Star Wars fanatic, and because I have my inner 11-year-old. This is a 9 or a 10. This is better than any of the prequels in my mind because I so like the original. Oh, there we go. There's Rogue One. So, you know, because I'm still 12 years old, I can relate to a lot of this. We're here in Times Square, by the way. Let's go walk around some more. Darth Maul is not in it. There's one lightsaber thing. No Luke Skywalker. There's one lightsaber thing where Vader pulls out his lightsaber and wastes a bunch of no-name rebel Starship Trooper kind of guys. No, it was an early showing, so it was about 40 guys and 5 women. Did they steal the plans? Yeah, they go. So anyway, they escape. They go back to the rebel base after Jedha's been destroyed, and they have a big debate as to whether they should give up the rebellion or they should keep going. And they decide just basically they're going to give up. But then the rogues say, screw it, we're going to go fight. So they steal a ship, and they fly to this giant data center, this Imperial data center, okay, where they're going to steal the hidden plans for the Death Star. And inside the hidden plans, her father has left a secret code on how to destroy the Death Star. The father, who was kidnapped to build the Death Star, is the guy who actually built the special reactor thing. He called it Project Stardust. And there were stormtroopers out the wazoo. There were the white stormtroopers, there were these new black death troopers, and then there were these sort of sand-colored sort of desert stormtroopers and stuff. 3 or 2. I loved it. So I'm very happy. I'll see it again. You want Luke Skywalker? So this movie takes place basically in the 2 weeks prior to Episode 4 coming out. So it ends basically when Episode 4 begins. So it's pretty cool. We are talking spoilers here, by the way. No sand people. What else? There's a lot of, there are AT-AT walkers, there's scout walkers. I didn't see it in 3D. John Aho and I both wear prescription glasses, so wearing 3D glasses is actually kind of uncomfortable for us. So we saw it in 2D. So I don't really know how the 3D is. Yeah, we're at the trams here. Whew. Anyway, that's what else can I tell you. John thought it was great. It was a newly written screenplay as far as I know. I don't know how it rates into the Wookiee verse or the whatever. Let me see what else I can tell you about the film. So anyway, they go to this big archive, and I remember Swindle Mines. That was an old one. AT&Ts were kind of, I guess they must have been tropical because they were kind of dark looking. They didn't look exactly the same as the AT-ATs in Hoth battle. They looked a little bit darker colored paint and stuff like that. Several of them got blown up by X-Wings, which was kind of cool. They came out. Anyway, so they're at the data center, yeah? We're doing spoilers here, guys. We're doing spoilers of Star Wars Rogue One, so if you don't want a spoiler, just tune out. No Han Solo, no Chewbacca. So let's go down this side street, it's quieter. So they go down to the the giant Googleplex, the Imperial Googleplex, where there's this giant data center, and they go in to steal the plans. They bring there's about 20 or 30 commandos, rebel commandos, who volunteer to help them with their mission. And they create a diversion while the other guys go inside with the robot. And then it's very similar to like the scenes where they were stealing, basically, rescuing Princess Leia. I don't know any Googleplex that looks like. Can a young kid say 5 years old? No, I wouldn't. It's a little too many explosions and too loud for a 5-year-old, I would think. 10-year-old probably okay. I could eat back here. I haven't eaten back here in a long time. So they go into the Dataplex. They get the thing. In the process, however, most of the rogues are killed. The wannabe Jedi Ip Man from Hong Kong gets killed, then his best buddy gets killed. the Imperial pilot who brought them the whole idea. The Imperial pilot who defected, he's killed. Most of the other guys who joined the Rogues are killed. The K2 robot is killed. And then it's left finally with the main two stars, the intelligence officer and the woman. And they managed to get the plans, and they've got to transmit them to the rebels. But the problem is that the planet is covered with this force shield, okay? So they can't get the signal out past the force shield. So they come up with an idea, because they knock out this Star Destroyer that's orbiting the force shield, okay? And they're like, I got an idea. They said, call in a Hammerhead ship. So they call in one of these rebel starfighters. It looks like a Hammerhead shark, okay? And then they just ram this Star Destroyer, and then they ram it into another Star Destroyer, and they just shear off all the top of the Star Destroyer. And then the Star Destroyer goes like right down into the force shield and blows up the force shield. And the crashing of the Star Destroyers was freaking epic. I was just like, awesome, so freaking awesome to see these two Star Destroyers just basically like sideswiping each other and ripping each other to shreds. That was so massively cool. So then the shield's down, and the rebels are able to transmit the plans back to the fleet. But just as they do that, guess who shows up? The Death Star shows up, and they decide, let's blow up the data center. You know, I guess they have backups or something for the data center. So they decided to just blow up the data center. And in the process of blowing up the data center, the final two Rogue One guys, the intelligence officer and the girl, they die in each other's arms, and basically a nuclear fireball envelops them in flames and they die. So they're all dead. Everybody's dead. These people couldn't see the future. These are fortune tellers, by the way. I'm here in Hong Kong. These are the cursing women who put curses on people and lift hexes. So if you ever need a curse or a hex, this is where you come. Anyway, so that's dead. So anyway, the plans are copied over to a CD. Basically this like credit card size CD, which you saw in episode 4 because they jammed that little thing inside R2-D2, yeah? So that little credit card. And then like a rebel guy has to like run with the plans, and he's getting chased by Darth Vader, yeah? Well, whatever, it's not CD, it's like a credit card, yeah? And then they give it to this guy. Darth Vader comes, he kills everyone he sees, but not before they're able to sneak it through the door, and boom, takes off on the ship. And then the final scene of the movie, the rebel starship commander type guy, who you saw get blown up in the first in the opening scenes of episode 4, he hands it to this woman all dressed in white, and she turns around and it's Princess Leia, and she's like, "This is hope. This is hope." And boom, that's the end. Then the credits roll. So it's not an anti-Trump movie. It's just Star Wars. It was cool. So anyway, that's some of the spoilers. Star Wars. Yeah, it was the skinny Leia. It was all CGI. So Grand Moff Tarkin, the actor that plays Grand Moff Tarkin, is long since dead, I think. So he was CGI. Princess Leia was CGI. I don't know if Red Leader and Gold Leader were CGI, but they looked like they did, 40 years ago. I'm not like a fanatic. I don't like dress up or anything like that, but I really did like the original movies. I mean, it came out when I was 11, so yeah, I just saw it. Yeah, it's just because it's here in Hong Kong. It's Thursday, so I just finished seeing the movie. The CGI was pretty good, but if you've watched a lot of video games, you could recognize it for being CGI. John Ho didn't recognize it as CGI until I told him. Yeah, it was $30 if I wanted to see it. I actually went to the cheap show. And Princess Leia, of course, was CGI. You can tell it's CGI because they go overboard, like with the reflections from the eyeballs and stuff like that. And, what didn't I like about the movie? Some of the dialogue was a little stupid, and the middle third of it got a little, if you need to go to the bathroom, basically after the girl's father dies and they go back to the rebel base, you go to the bathroom then. Yeah, it just opened here in Hong Kong. We didn't get midnight showings either. It opened at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning here in Hong Kong. So I'm going to cross the street here. Did anyone fall asleep? There was a 20-minute slowdown period in the middle of the movie, but overall it wasn't a sleeping movie. It was intense. I mean, the first third of the movie they're blowing up stuff all the time. The second third is kind of slow, and then the final third is just a massive crescendo. And like any movie, you've got to have some time to go to the bathroom. Which I didn't actually. I actually need to go to the bathroom right now. Maybe they're milking it, but this is the prequel I would have rather seen. This is the story I really was interested in, more so than how Darth Vader was a little boy or anything like that. So, it was pretty cool. Oh, this place has these loaves of bread that look like horse turds. Let me see if I can find them. Yeah. I mean, who's going to make a brown loaf of bread like that? Did they mention the crew of the Ghost from the Rebels? I don't really seem to remember that. I mean, look at that. This is like the dumbest shape for brown bread ever. Should you go see it for $17? If you're a Star Wars fanatic, yeah. If you're just... See, this is the thing, though. I think, like, regular moviegoers who didn't have, like, that epiphany of the original Star Wars, they might not like it as much as a guy like me who was constantly on the lookout for cameos and other stuff like that. I saw it. I paid $8 for my ticket, which is actually a pretty good price here in Hong Kong for an opening film. If I'd gone to see it in IMAX, it would have been a lot more. It's about 72 today. It's actually kind of warm. So... You got tickets for Friday. Oh, okay. Can you wait till Friday? We saw the 2D version. John Ho and I both wear glasses, okay? So, watching 3D with prescription glasses is just not always the most pleasant experience. So, yeah, see? Any surprise cameos that caught me off guard? Grand Moff Tarkin, I mean, that was kind of a surprise. And Red Leader and Gold Leader, R2-D2 and C-3PO was almost predictable. Princess Leia, it didn't surprise me. It kind of made sense at the end of the movie, though I didn't really know what she had been doing, like in the middle of like this giant battle. I thought she was on another planet. No, that was actually one little plot hole. Was that Organa says, "I'm going back to Alderaan. I'm gonna find someone who I really trust to take these plans," and then suddenly you're like, "Oh, wait a second. She's in the middle of this frickin' battle." All right. It was CGI. It looked like she actually looked younger than she did in the original movie. It was all computer generated. She had like little girl freckles or something like that. The Death Star seemed a lot bigger too. There's a lot of new shuttles. There's some space tanks, some walker type things. So it was pretty cool. I mean, there's going to be a whole new range of toys coming out on this one, I'm sure. They introduced so many little minor characters that are all going to have their own toy. So guys, I'm Penguin 6, by the way. Welcome to Hong Kong. I take you guys around all the time. How does it end? Everybody dies. That's how it ends. Everybody dies. But hope. Hope springs eternal. No new lightsabers. The effects are good. Yeah, they're pretty good. In fact, what was it? The Clone Wars or Revenge of the Sith? Whichever one of the last of the prequels, I thought the effects had gotten too stupid. I'm not sure what I'm going to have for lunch. I thought the effects were just too computerized. So this one, they sort of minimized that a little bit. Like in the final battle, there was only like a dozen X-Wings that were able... Oh, we've been doing spoilers for a while. Sorry, buddy. Yeah. So there's been spoilers. We did our non-spoiler review. Now we're on the spoiler review. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Any other questions? We should just get a cab. Yeah, we've been doing some spoilers. You don't get notification. You know, a lot of people are complaining about that. Um, any sciences like any scenes like the trench in the original? No, there are no scenes like the trench. There are a lot of scenes like the Imperial prison. I don't know what it is about Imperial architecture that means you have to have like a 80-foot drop or 150-foot drop area, but there was a couple of those. It was kind of cool to see Darth Vader like floating in the tank. There wasn't any flying through the forest, though there was a big ground battle on the desert. The captain died. Everybody dies. There were X-Wings, Y-Wings, and then I think there's a new ship they're going to call like a Z-Wing, which is sort of like a shuttle. Who was the first to die? The first Rogue One to die, I think it was... I can't really remember the order. It was either the Imperial pilot. It was the Imperial pilot who defected. His ship was blown up by a grenade just after he enabled the data link to transmit the data. There's no way there's going to be a sequel. Well, there was a sequel. Episode 4 is the sequel. It's not Ida IFC. The second to die is the Ip Man, Donnie Yen from Hong Kong, and then his buddy dies next. And then the captain and the gal, they die at the end. What's her name? Ray or something? Not Ray. Yeah. They do not show Luke. There is a Donnie Yen stick fighting scene, a pretty big one, early in the film. Felicity Jones. Okay. There's a few funny lines. Like they're like, so Donnie Yen gets grabbed by the rebels, you know, and they put a hood over him so he won't see where he's going, and he's like, "Dude, I'm blind. You know, is this really necessary? I'm blind." But they did it anyway. So we are doing spoilers here, guys. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. We are talking some spoilers now and then. There's no cabs coming. I think there's a cab right over there. We're going to get this one. Was the lightsaber crystal the final part of the Death Star weapon? Yeah, it is very good. The crystals that power the lightsaber also power the Death Star, whatever they're called. I hate it when a bus blocks the taxi from coming to pick me up, like this time. Alright, I can't get a cab here. It's too crazy. I didn't watch Star Wars Rebels, no. I'll go over to the other side of the road and get one. Yeah, well, they raid this temple on Jeddah, which is sort of the spiritual home of the Jedi, and they steal all the crystals from it. And after they got all the crystals, then they use the Death Star to blow up the city. Grand Moff Tarkin was in it a bit. It was interesting when Grand Moff Tarkin was with other characters and they were interacting with him, it looked kind of real. But when Grand Moff Tarkin was standing by himself, just speaking to the camera, then he looked CGI. You know, you're like, oh, that's just CGI. If you've ever seen the cutscenes in video games, you could sort of recognize the same type of artwork that they use in cutscenes for video games. I'm off the mic. The microphone's doing weird stuff again. So guys, I'm Penguin 6, by the way. Welcome to Hong Kong. We're in Causeway Bay. We're going to try to get a cab and go get some lunch. We've just seen Star Wars Rogue One. It opened here in Hong Kong. Today is Thursday, the 15th of December, and it's been out all morning. So all the Uber geeks like myself have been at the theater. We are talking spoilers, so if you are concerned about spoilers, I recommend you go watch another Periscope. I'll be back later. We won't talk about it. But right now we are talking any spoilers. So if you got any questions about the movie, feel free to ask me. It cost about $8. I saw the first show at this theater, so it was pretty empty, actually. Just John Ho and myself went. Most people have normal lives. John actually got a message in the middle and was getting all fidgety because he had to run to his office. How much was the IMAX? IMAX was $200 Hong Kong, which is about $25 US We didn't see it in IMAX. We just saw it in regular 2D. We paid $8 US. Where's my taxi? Here's one. He can pick me up here. No, he doesn't want to. Maybe he can't pick me up here. Must be a bus lane. I gotta go farther down. If no one in town, how can it be in between the two movies? This movie ends like 1 hour before episode 4 begins, if even that. I mean, literally, the final scene of this movie is Princess Leia's Star Cruiser warping into hyperspace with Darth Vader's Star Destroyer right behind it. And there's a message. Oh, that's right. Organa had left a message saying, "There's only one place we can go. There's a Jedi, and he's hiding. I will send her to find the hidden Jedi," which is basically Obi-Wan Kenobi. They are showing it here. Princess Leia was in this movie, a CGI version of her. So she looked like she was 16. I mean, literally, she looked like she was 16. Anything about Snoke? No, nothing about Snoke. Nothing about the latest movies. There were no real tie-ins. I actually was, at the end of the movie, I was looking at the captain, and I was looking at the gal, and I was like, man, maybe these are Rey's parents. Maybe that's the secret. Maybe these two are Rey's parents. And then the Death Star comes in and blows up the base, and this giant nuclear fireball incinerates both of them. I'm like, okay, scratch that idea. They're definitely not Rey's parents. There's taxis over here. Whew, pretty exhausted from this. I think we need some pizza. Yeah, it's kind of like Shibuya. This is the Causeway Bay crossing. It was great. I loved it. But then again, I'm channeling my inner 11-year-old. I was 11 years old when the original Star Wars came out. I still remember it. My mom and dad, I was out for a bike ride on a little summer evening. My mom and dad pulled up in the car and they said, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm riding my bike." And they're like, "Do you want to go see Star Wars?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Get home, take your bike home, we'll go see the." So I turned my bike around as hard as I could and I immediately crashed. Wham! And then my parents were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No." But I quickly forgot all about that because I was going to see Star Wars, yeah? So we lined up in a line for about an hour and a half and I saw the original. Oh, this guy's open. You okay? Hi. Hi. Hollywood Road, Soho, Hollywood, Lyndhurst Terrace and Hollywood, somewhere around there. So this is where we saw the movie. In fact, you can see the Star Wars sign. There she is. No, we're going to go get something to eat. What time is it? The theater was only about 40 guys and 5 women. It was all geeks. Yeah, we're going to go get some lunch. I'm thinking Motorino pizza today. It was a lot of fun, but I'm an 11-year-old. I'm a 12-year-old at heart, so I was definitely channeling. I'm a Star Wars geek, so I was liking a lot of it. Nobody was cosplaying at our place. Our place was filled with serious geek guys, who were instantly on Instagram and Twitter after the movie was over. There's no Trump stuff that I could. They didn't say anything like "make the empire great again" or anything like that. Not everything's political. Yeah, it is a bit too far to walk, and I have to go to the bathroom too. Will anything come up in episode 8 or 9 relative to this? No. Maybe a throwaway comment or something. But there was no... I don't really see how they could tie anything from this movie to that. Maybe some stuff about the force crystals, because force crystals were kind of popular in this, whatever they're called, the crystals that have the force in them or something. So there's a little bit. It was 1977 when the movie came out. Originally, May 25th, 1977. They're doing linking more movies. I really don't know, because, you know, the period between Episode 4 and Episode 3 were supposedly covered by the cartoon Star Wars: The Clone War. So the only linking I could see would be between the others, but there was no link as important as this. This was you know, this is how Episode 4 started. Suddenly there were like rebel plans for what? Death Star? You know, you started Episode 4 with a big question, a question that was never... Yeah. We can go through North Wan Chai if you want. Is that faster? Yeah, maybe. I'm in Hong Kong. Yeah, I would have to walk some more though. Yeah, I'm 50. Yeah. I tell you the one thing, that there was a line in the trailer, and she says, you know, I rebel. This is rebellion. I rebel, right? That wasn't in our cut of the movie. That line didn't come in our cut of the movie. So it was kind of bizarre not to see that. Dude, look at the title. I've been giving out spoilers this whole Periscope. Spoilers, that was in the title. Sorry, man. There are spoilers in this. If you don't like spoilers, I'm sorry. We did a non-spoiler review. This is the spoiler review. There's some sort of crystal that powers like the lightsabers and stuff like that. So those have a big role in this, the thing. I don't know. There's a term of that for them. Yeah, I did have some edited out material. So yeah, if you're just joining, we do have spoilers here, okay? So spoilers now and then. That's the noonday canon. Yeah, it was in English, but it